Right now, somewhere inside your body, there are old, worn-out immune cells doing almost nothing, just sitting there, using resources, slowing you down without you ever knowing it. And there's exactly one biological switch that clears them out and rebuilds them from scratch. It's not a supplement, it's not a diet. It's a single hour hidden inside a fast that almost nobody reaches, because almost everyone eats before they get there. Most fasting content stops at hour 16. Some brave ones make it to 24. But the real transformation, the one researchers at USC actually measured in human blood, doesn't finish until hour 30. Today I'm taking you past the point where every other video stops, hour by hour, so you can see exactly what your body does when you keep going. And by the end you'll know the 1 hour that matters more than any other in a fast, and why breaking it too early might be costing you the entire benefit. If you've ever done intermittent fasting, this part will feel familiar. Your last meal digests, nutrients hit your bloodstream, insulin rises to manage it, then slowly falls as the hours pass. Your stomach empties, your pancreas quiets down. By hour 12, your stored sugar, glycogen, is running low. Your liver has been rationing it out like a manager stretching a shrinking budget, and now that budget's nearly gone. This is the point where your body faces a choice: panic or adapt. It adapts. An enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase switches on, and your fat cells start releasing their stores into your bloodstream. For the first time in maybe days, you're not running on what you ate yesterday, you're running on you. This is where most fasting videos plant their flag and call it a day. 1 meal a day, 16-hour windows, 20-hour pushes. These are real habits with real benefits. But they all stop right before the most interesting part of the story even begins. Here's something most people get wrong. They assume the benefits of fasting build in a straight line, a little more each hour, steadily, predictably. They don't. Fasting isn't linear. It's a series of locked doors, and each one only opens at a specific hour, no earlier. Between hour 12 and 18, your liver starts converting fat into ketones, a clean burning fuel your brain actually prefers over sugar. Many people describe this stretch as the clearest their thinking has felt in weeks. No fog, no crash, just a steady, quiet kind of energy. Around hour 18, a process called autophagy activates. Think of it as your cells taking out the trash. Damaged proteins, old cellular junk that's been piling up for months, finally get broken down and recycled. It's real, it's been measured in lab settings, and it's also where the story usually ends, because this is around the hour most fasts get broken. But here's what almost nobody talks about. Autophagy at hour 18 is just the warm-up. The door that matters most doesn't open until 6 hours later. At hour 24, something shifts that simply doesn't happen at hour 16 or hour 20. Your body senses something it almost never gets to sense in modern life. Real, sustained fuel scarcity, not a skipped breakfast, not a missed lunch. Actual prolonged absence, the kind your biology evolved to expect but almost never experiences anymore. And your body responds the way it has for hundreds of thousands of years. It starts clearing out what it no longer needs. Researcher Walter Longo at USC studied exactly this window and found that fasting through it triggers the breakdown of old, weakened white blood cells, the aging, underperforming pieces of your immune system that have been sitting there, using resources, doing very little. Think about the last time your phone slowed down for no reason, and you finally checked your storage and found 40 apps you installed once, used twice, and forgot existed. They weren't doing anything useful, they were just sitting there, draining your battery in the background. Your immune system carries the same kind of dead weight, cells that used to fight infections effectively, that have since worn down, weakened, gone half-functional, and your body keeps feeding them anyway because it's never had a real reason to stop and clean house. At hour 24, for the first time in a long time, it does. Here's the part that sounds almost too good to be true, and it's the reason this window matters more than any other stage of fasting. When you eventually eat again after reaching this point, your body doesn't just refill the immune cells it broke down, it builds new ones. From scratch, from stem cells. You're not just clearing clutter off an old phone, you're getting a new one built from the parts that were still good. This single mechanism is the reveal most fasting content never reaches, because most people break their fast 6, 12, even 18 hours before their body gets here. They get the cleanup. They never get the rebuild. While this is happening, other systems are shifting quietly in the background too. Your resting heart rate tends to drop slightly. Markers of inflammation in your blood, things doctors actually test for, tend to fall. This isn't your body panicking under stress, it's the opposite. After a full day without food, your body settles into something closer to a low-power, high-efficiency mode. Fewer systems running at once, but the ones that matter running clean. It's worth pausing here and asking why. Why would a body ever evolve to rebuild its immune system during a period of starvation when you'd think survival alone would be the priority? The answer is that for most of human history, scarcity and infection came together. Famine, drought, harsh winters, these weren't just about missing meals. They were periods when the body was also more exposed to illness, injury, and infection, often without access to food to fuel a strong immune response later. So the body developed a strategy: use the downtime, the forced pause from digestion, to clean out weak cells now, so that when food finally does return, it can build back stronger, more efficient defenses instead of just patching up what was already worn out. In other words, this isn't a side effect of fasting. It's arguably one of the reasons fasting exists as a biological capability in the first place. This is usually where people assume things get dangerous. They don't. If anything, this is where your body's intelligence becomes most visible. Growth hormone, which started rising hours earlier, stays elevated through this stretch, actively protecting your muscle tissue the entire way. Your body isn't interested in breaking down the structure of the house when there's a shed full of stored fuel sitting right outside. It burns the fat first, every time, as long as fat is available, and for almost everyone reading this, it is. What actually gets hard here isn't physical, it's mental. You'll catch yourself thinking about food more in these hours than you did on hour 10. That's not your body failing you. That's old scheduling software running in your brain that hasn't caught up to what your biology already knows. Your cells are fine, your habits just haven't gotten the message yet. This is also, interestingly, the stretch where people report the strangest sense of calm, not hunger-driven panic, but something closer to stillness. Some researchers link this to the drop in insulin and the steadiness of ketone-based fuel. No spikes, no crashes, just a flat, quiet line of energy running your brain and body at the same time. By this point, ketone levels are at their highest point of the entire fast. Your brain is running on a fuel source that produces less metabolic waste than sugar does, which is part of why so many people report unusual mental clarity in these final hours, right before they'd normally assume they'd be falling apart. Your cells, meanwhile, have become extraordinarily sensitive to nutrients. Think of a dry sponge dropped into water. It doesn't just absorb, it pulls the water in immediately, completely, with nothing wasted. That's roughly what your cells are like after 33 to 36 hours without food. It's a powerful state, but it's also one that needs to be handled carefully, because how you break the fast now matters as much as the fast itself. If you flood a system this sensitive with a large, heavy meal or a wave of processed sugar, you'll likely feel worse, not better. Not because extended fasting is dangerous, but because your digestive system has been powered down for a day and a half, and asking it to suddenly process a massive meal is like starting a cold engine at full throttle. Start small. Protein first, something easy to digest, eggs, bone broth, a small piece of fish. Give your system a few minutes to switch back on. Add healthy fats next. Then, once you're a bit further in, bring in the vegetables and the volume. This isn't a reward meal to celebrate suffering. It's building material for a body that just did a lot of quiet, invisible work. This length of fast isn't something to try casually, and it's not for everyone. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, have any history of disordered eating, are underweight, or take medication for diabetes or blood pressure, a fast this long needs a real conversation with a doctor first, not a video on the internet telling you to go for it. Extended fasting is a genuine stressor on your body, and treating it carelessly defeats the entire purpose of doing it well. So that's the hour that changes everything. Hour 24. The point where your body stops simply burning fat and starts clearing out, then rebuilding its own immune system from the ground up. Most people never see it happen inside themselves, not because it's too difficult, but because they stop right before it starts. One meal, one craving, one "I'll try again next time," away from the part that actually matters most. If this is the first time you've heard that a fast can regenerate your own immune cells, that alone is worth sticking around for what else this channel covers. And I want to know, have you ever pushed a fast past 24 hours? What did hour 30 actually feel like for you? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them.